All right, welcome to Rapid Fire Manufacturing. Today I have Meaghan Ziemba. Meaghan is huge in the manufacturing industry. She's the host of Mavens of Manufacturing, where she highlights people and innovations that are driving the manufacturing industry forward. She also collaborates with MTD CNC. If you were at IMTS, I'm sure you saw her running around booth to booth. She was everywhere. So, Meaghan, super excited to have you on today.
Yeah, thanks, David, for having me on. I'm sorry that it's taken this long, but I know you asked me at IMTS to do this, and it's just been a whirlwind. I can't even believe it's December right now. It's crazy.
I know. Time flies when you're having fun.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So we'll jump into it. You've been sharing all these incredible stories from the manufacturing world for a long time now. What do you think telling these stories helps manufacturers connect with their teams and customers in a more real way?
Yeah, so I think, for a while our industry has kind of been robotic where companies were hiring employees and kind of forgetting that they were actually people and just considering them as a number. So people get caught up in like, okay, how productive am I? How much money am I making? Who and it kind of turned into this thing of micromanaging almost where it really didn't matter what people had going on at home. And I've worked with companies like that, but I've also worked with companies who really invested in their people and helped empowered them. And when I started Mavens, it wasn't necessarily to like connect manufacturers with their employees, it was actually to give women a chance to share their stories because right now we represent 30% of the industry. And I never was encouraged to pursue anything in engineering or manufacturing. I was always encouraged to do something that was English related because that's where I was scoring high. But I also enjoyed doing things with my hands. Like one of my favorite classes that I took in middle school was wood tech. Like we made a race car, we made a piggy bank that I still have, I made a clock. It was really fun to just take a block of wood, cut it into something, and then have it be functional. And I never connected the dots to that being related to engineering or manufacturing because I was never told, hey, you can do this. So with Mavens, it started out just to get women to share their stories so that other women could connect with women in either in their locations or just connect with women in general, or if they were younger like a high school age or even middle school elementary age, they could get inspired by some of these opportunities that are available. In terms of it helping manufacturers connect with their employees, I think there's a lot of companies who are starting to learn more about their cultures and like some of the things that they might not be doing intentionally, but could be really harmful to some of their employees. So there's businesses out there that don't really do a great job pulling some of their women employees into the conversation. I know for me, for instance, I was not very financial literate when I started my own business, and it wasn't something that was ever taught to me, or I was never part of those conversations when I worked with other companies. And I've talked to other women who've had the same experience. Like they didn't know they could negotiate their salaries. They didn't know like how to price out their value. They didn't know what sort of things they could invest in and save more money. They didn't know that they had that kind of opportunity. So they looked to other leaders to kind of get that information, and if
Hmm.
it's not another woman leader, it's really hard to relate to that person. And it's nothing to be like sexist or anything. It's just that's how people work together. If you have a common ground with someone, you're able to open up to them a little bit better and have better conversations with them. So there's a lot of groups out there that are starting to form. One in particular is Women in Manufacturing. I've been a member of that organization for the last 3 years, I think. And it's just a great opportunity for women to get together with other women in the industry, and they invite men leaders to come to these events too. And I think it really helps companies learn, what are some of the things that our employees are experiencing that they might not be able to share with us because they might be a little bit intimidated or a little awkward to share it, or they just don't know how to have these conversations. It really gets them to see, okay, here are some of our roadblocks. in terms of empowering our employees and being more inclusive. So let's make these changes within our company culture so that we're all inviting to everyone. And then we can work on things that are going to make everybody feel comfortable and like they're part of the team. Because when employees are happy, there's a ton of studies out there. When they're happy and they feel like part of the team, they're actually more productive and they
Hmm.
actually enjoy coming to work and they actually enjoy being part of the team and sharing their ideas. And that helps drive innovation, that helps drive problem solving, that helps drive, you know, revenue. I really think Mavens is helping companies understand that, yes, there's these great women in this space. Some of them had horrible experiences. Others have had really great experiences. And it's really showing them the different opportunities that they can start incorporating into their own company culture to really get other women in their areas excited about engineering and manufacturing and maybe apply to some of the positions that they have vacant currently. Well, and it's just, it's all about representation too. Like, a lot of women that I've talked to, you know, they've come into this sector by accident and they've said, I didn't think this was a place for me because I didn't see other people that looked like me. I didn't see
Hmm.
other people that, I had anything in common with. And it wasn't until, I got linked up with this industry or this person that I realized I had a place here. And then when I came into it, it was a lot of fun and it was still a little bit challenging because there were very few women in my area. But yeah, it helps to see yourself in a space that you didn't think you could fit in before. So if you can see yourself in something, it's easier for you to have that confidence to pursue it, I think. There are a ton of women though that were like, I don't care if I don't see myself in this industry. I enjoy doing it and I'm going to pursue it
Hmm.
anyways. And I'm going to prove people wrong because there have been some women who have been told like, this is not the place for you. You don't belong here. And they were like, no, screw it. I'm still going to pursue it and
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I love. So it's really fun and interesting to see all the different perspectives and hear the different stories. And I think that really is going to help younger generations, not just women, but other men, figure out what they really want to do and what they want to pursue. Because engineering is not the same. Engineering and manufacturing isn't the same that it has been 100 years ago. Like it's rapidly changing. Yes, there's still
Hmm.
dirty, dark, dull, dangerous opportunities available, and some people like that, but it's getting more high tech and it's getting more creative. And, there's other opportunities outside of technical design and engineering. Like we still need our accountants, we still need our marketers, we still need our finance people. So there's room for everybody here to grow and be successful.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think what you're doing with Mavens is phenomenal. So
Thank you.
I continue to watch and support you and all of that. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
that.
Yeah, I appreciate.
So there's this need for skilled workers in manufacturing. It's a huge deal right now as we're trying to bring everything back. And you've been vocal about bringing in new talent. What do you think companies and communities can do in manufacturing to make these jobs more appealing to younger people and make people get excited about the industry?
I think I'm a storyteller. So, everybody goes to the movies for a reason. It's a way to kind of escape what's going on around you and, get excited about something or feel something that you haven't felt before. And I really enjoy the idea of sitting around a table or sitting around the fire and learning from other people about their life experiences. Like their stories are really what makes us all connect with one another, right? Like it
Hmm.
stories talk about our history, they teach us about our present, and they really connect us and they help connect us to other cultures and other groups of people. So I think what manufacturers really need to do is just go out there and brag about themselves more because we haven't done that for a long time and now we're kind of feeling the effects of that. For a while, people in high school have been pushed to go to a 4-year college, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I am the product of a 4-year college degree and beyond, but it's not really for everybody. Not everybody wants to do that. There's
Hmm.
people in high school that I've met who wanted to work right away. They didn't even want to go to high school. They just wanted to work and make money and live their life. And I feel like if we don't share these stories, that narrative of, okay, there's only one path to be successful is going to be slower to kind of change. So I think with manufacturers getting out there, especially just within the general public, it's not just getting the students excited, but it's also getting their families excited. So I come from a community where in the late 90s, early 2000s, a couple of our manufacturing companies took a really big hit. A lot of my friends that I was going to high school with, their number one plan was to go work in the businesses and companies that their families worked for generations. And when
Mm.
that was kind of ripped out from under them, they didn't have a plan B because they were putting all of their eggs in one basket. And we lost a lot of people within our community because people were moving out to go find jobs elsewhere. And, with the manufacturing gone, a lot of the other smaller businesses went out of business. So Beloit kind of got a really bad reputation and a bad name for itself. And then um, fast forward to like 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, a woman by the name of Diane Hendricks came in and she created this business with her former husband. It's called ABC Supply. And it brought a lot of jobs back to the Beloit community, but she didn't stop there. Like she made a ton of investments in some of the smaller businesses that were around. She helped make a ton of investments in some of the real estate that's here. So she was helping build apartment buildings and other buildings that could house smaller shops. She built a charter school that focuses on the trades and STEM. So she's really like trying to build up the whole narrative of manufacturing to bring people back in, and we've increased our population. We have a really cool downtown now. Like people brag about Beloit now. We have a really cool baseball field for a minor league baseball team that families can go to and enjoy, and it's just been a really cool revamp of our city. And when you have a strong foundation of manufacturing, you have a community. People are able to thrive as small business owners. It really brings the community together. And the only way you can do that is if you continue to brag about yourself and share the stories about the products that you're making and how you're making a difference in everybody's life. So I always recommend manufacturers to not just go to schools and speak and do presentations, but also create community events where they're talking to other community leaders, other business owners. They're talking to their competition and collaborating with their competition. I also encourage them to open up their doors and have people come in so that they can give tours. Like make a party about it. Bring out the barbecue, start that
Yeah.
up, feed people. I went to the high school that I graduated from during COVID and did a digital event. And I think I spent $150 on pizza, and the kids absolutely loved it. And they keep talking about it every year. The person that's in charge of their VOTEC program, we are always communicating with one another. And I brought them for the second time to IMTS this past year. And they absolutely loved it. The teachers loved it. The chaperones loved it because it showed them things that exist outside of the community. So when you're in a small area like Beloit, you're only seeing the manufacturing that happens within that community. But if you share your stories and you go to other surrounding areas, you're actually educating people on the other things that happen in manufacturing. So if you can sponsor a bus to a major trade show, I highly recommend it. If you can sponsor a robotics team, if you can mentor, I highly recommend it, because then that's going to get kids excited. They're going to see that you care about them, and then they're going to want to learn more about your brand and what you're doing, and they'll become really loyal at a really young age. So you just got to light that spark of inspiration for them. I've met a couple of people who started probably like disregarding the labor laws, but I mean, they started working in their family shop and now they're a business owner, and
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't change it for the world because it's just such purposeful work. And, if we don't have a strong manufacturing foundation, it's not just an economic threat, it's also a national security threat. Like, manufacturing is what helps us thrive as a country. So why wouldn't you want to brag about what you're doing? And I know people are like, well, we have NDAs, and there's a way you can talk about it still and not hit on some of that information that's, in those agreements. But yeah, I think if you just reach out, there's a company, I really enjoy their marketing person. Her name is Mary. The company is Batesville Products. she helped write a children's book about the foundry industry, and it's one of their
That's
marketing
cool.
tools. Yeah, so on their website, they actually have a link to a kids corner, and it's coloring pages. It's you can get a copy of their children's book, and then they also have science experiments that you can do at home with your kids. And she goes to schools all the time to speak to little kids, and she teaches them how to melt down chocolate, pour it in a mold, and then make their own piece of candy. And she's like, it's the basics of what the foundry industry is. We melt down metal, we put it in a mold, and then we create these
Hmm.
parts. And she's like, it's a safe, fun way. We're not getting into like the nitty gritty of the details, but we're giving them the basic information to something that they can relate to and remember. And then they're going to be talking about it with their family and everything like that. So I think another way too that companies can really share their stories, when you're at trade shows, have a good piece of handout. Like, make sure you have some swag that people are going to pick up. Like, I was at Automate, and there's a couple companies that have Lego swag bags now.
Oh, that's
Bring
cool.
them I bring them home to my kids all the time, and now they're always asking me questions about Fanuc and ABB and Universal Robots because that's the swag that I pick up, and they're like, "What is this? What do they do? What do the robots do? I didn't know you could work with robots. Are the robots made out of giant Legos?" Like, they just ask fun questions like that. Also, if you have really cool swag stuff, the parents will bring that home to their kids, and the kids will have conversations, and that's another way to indirectly get them excited about our industry.
That's so awesome. We are out of time, Megan. Thank you for everything you're doing for the industry. I really appreciate it. For those of you watching, stay tuned for more episodes from industry experts like Megan.
Thanks, David.
Thank you. All right.